What is going on, guys? Give me one moment. I hope you guys can hear us. Yeah, it looks like I can. So I'm still trying to figure out how.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time to not show our faces, but this gives it a nice little spooky effect, I guess. Go ahead and talk on the mic, James. See how our volume level is going on here.
How's it going, guys?
I'm here with James. Welcome, everybody. We are talking the Netflix documentary series, The Night Stalker, aka
you just said it, aka
Richard Ramirez. Yeah. So we're going to be diving into the documentary series, but we're also going to be diving into just overall this serial killer and discussing all the heinous, horrific. Like this documentary kind of shook me to my core, and just to give you a little bit of insight of how I am with a lot of the true crime and unsolved mysteries. I mean, my mom is what kind of loved all that.
Yeah,
so we could cut here because this is not for kids. All right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not.
So my mom got me into all this. I mean, this is a lot of shit. This is a lot of crazy shit,
Yeah.
True crime, serial killers, Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah.
Gacy, Charles Manson.
Well, Charles Manson never really actually killed anyone.
True.
He just sent people because he was honestly Charles Manson was just like a big old wuss.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
All these guys are pieces of shit. But this guy, I knew of him, but I didn't know the full details, especially with a lot of the victims that were involved and just a lot of the stuff that was really going on with his case in general.
Yeah.
So
he was the second biggest thing to hit the courtrooms since Ted Bundy was, because Ted Bundy was a superstar when he got arrested and everything, and so that was like America's kind of first introduction to a serial killer was Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
But then that's when it like started spiraling out of control, especially in the 70s. And then into the 80s, where they were just nothing but serial killers. They were just
I like how you pointed Ted Bundy, because this dude was a mega rock star.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Zac Efron played him recently in that movie.
Yeah, Ted Bundy was always a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
like that's how he lured his victims and everything, because he was gay, but he was trying to fight that, because back in the 70s it really wasn't accepted like it is nowadays.
Yeah,
and he would attract women, men, just everyone. And
he was a rock star.
Yeah, he was then his stank breath all the time, because he had that permanent stank breath.
Oh yeah, and then in the documentary. So we'll go into the documentary here, because this is what. So when I watched this, right, it really hit me like really to my core.
Yeah.
So
sorry guys, if you give it.
Here he comes. We got a killer right now.
I know. We got. My dog just came down. He just wanted to come say hi.
All right, buddy. You're gonna have to go over there.
All right. Enough, Papa.
So give me one moment. I'm getting attacked right now. Okay, give me one moment.
Hold on, I'll be right back, guys.
All right, so I'm back after getting attacked. James, real quick, had to go real quick. Oh, he's back in. So if I get attacked, you're gonna hear all my screams. So, but no, this Netflix series really kind of shook me to my core. It just really, especially when hearing and seeing a lot of the cases and what Richard Ramirez did to a lot of these people, the family members that had to go through all this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really just felt like this was this one hit more harder than a lot of the other serial killers. And the other serial killers, I mean, you have Gacy, who would freaking murder people and wear their skin and skin.
You got to think the reason why I think Richard Ramirez hits a lot more people is because he was more, of the Hispanic culture, and especially in Los Angeles, because what's the most in Los Angeles is the Hispanic culture. Yeah. So that's why I think a lot of people know about the Night Stalker, know about Richard Ramirez's doings because of him being, I guess you could say, more local or cultured, or not cultured, but more like it wasn't.
Well, his whole backstory.
It wasn't just white people he was attacking. Like with
well, what I
Bundy.
noticed, he was definitely targeting a lot of Asian people.
Yes,
which was interesting. Like, but not only for this guy. When I was watching the documentary series, you could see what nationality the victims were.
Yeah.
But what really got me, this is what really hit me when watching this documentary series, is when you're watching it, you got the two lead detectives in this documentary series.
Yes.
It's really about the hunt, other than really Richard Ramirez and his backstory and stuff. They really briefly mention it, but it's really about the hunt. It's trying to figure out who the hell's committing these homicides and who is also abducting these children, and how are they connected? And they are connected because it's the same guy.
Yeah.
That's what really got me, was this guy's murdering people. He's murdering elderly people.
Yes.
But he's also abducting children. And not only is he raping them, but he's taking them, he's leaving them off. He's taking them back, or he just leaves them, he abandons them, and then they go back. Here comes the killer. So that's what really got me, was just the fact that this guy is doing this, and then he's doing this on the other side. Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same guy. And then not only that, so yes, he's doing it all mostly in LA, but he's also going to San Francisco. Yeah. He's going towards the Central Coast area, and he's not committing one act. He's committing like freaking 3 acts in the same night.
Well, I mean, if you think about it like this, I mean, since we live on the Central Coast anyway, do you think he was taking the 101 or the 5 all the way to San Francisco? Because he could have gone through our town.
He's taking the 5.
Is he taking the 5?
He's taking the 5. I know they probably they mentioned it and they pinpointed it and all that stuff. But no, this guy, and then when you see pictures of Richard Ramirez, and then what I like about the documentary series is that in the beginning, they're not going straight to Richard Ramirez. They're really kind of slow playing it. You know, we're getting to know the detectives. We're getting to know their lives. We're getting to know the dangers of chasing after a serial killer. And then they get into more of Richard Ramirez, but they really get into the heinous acts he's doing. Yeah. Which this guy will be torturing somebody, but then he'll be sitting down and having a snack. And then he'll go back into it.
Yeah, with one case, what he did was it was an elderly couple. Oh no, it was 2 women.
I think they're sisters.
They were sisters.
There's a sister. There was 2 elderly sisters, and one passed and one did not.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought they both survived.
No, I think one died.
Oh,
one died. Yeah.
Well, anyway, after he'd done his heinous crimes to them and everything, he just went and had a snack. Went to use the bathroom like normal. While they were there. Yeah. And then he he just had a snack. I mean, it's like, dude, what goes through killers' minds when they have like a snack while they're busy doing their thing, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like, this guy was a real piece of work, man. I mean, and then especially with the eye gouges, this guy would rape he'd rape anything, honestly. But he raped a lot of women, and then he beat a lot of the women too, tortured them. Like, this guy was just a real piece of shit. But I guess so. The documentary series really covers. I think the big controversy of the Netflix documentary series is the fact that they're showcasing a lot of the victims in their photos and the crime scene itself. Mm-hmm. I think I haven't got into that and the information on that, but I think that the family members probably gave consent to use those photos, to use this for the documentary.
Oh, they would have to.
Yeah, I mean, you can't showcase.
Yeah,
it doesn't. To me, that's not as crazy as it is. It's not that disturbing to me, because if you read a lot of these true crime books, in the middle of the section they have the crime scenes.
Oh yeah,
where you could see the crime scenes, the pictures. Because what this documentary showcased to me was not necessarily it's to really draw fear to you. that this could happen to you, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of locking your doors. You know, we live in America, guys. Well, this is not Canada. Canada seems to not be able to, if you don't know, they don't lock their doors. I think it's the lowest crime rate over there. I don't know now, but
it's so cold you don't want to go anywhere.
But in America, exactly. In America, like, yes, we have the high technology where, you know, we have a lot of things that could cameras on the door, advanced doorbells.
Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't have a Ring.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, there's people who can't afford that. So these are the people that could be targeted. And if you look at Richard Ramirez, he was targeting he was really going after these people who were vulnerable.
Yeah.
Sneaking in, that's why a lot of the elderly people, a lot of elderly couples, that's why you see a lot of the grandmas of the victims.
Well, and also this was in the 80s too. I mean, honestly, like you said about, you know, like make sure your doors are locked. Honestly, if he was advanced enough, he would just pick the locks.
So that's the other thing about the documentary, is that they don't really cover how Richard Ramirez, they gloss over it.
Yeah.
Because Richard Ramirez learned this stuff.
Yes, he did. It wasn't like a natural thing for like, oh, I want to go do this. He was taught. He got taught by his cousin or his uncle.
I think he got taught by his brother on picking the locks. Now his uncle was a huge influence because his uncle is the one that he was a Green Beret.
Yep.
He fought in the Vietnam War.
Yep.
He had Polaroids, and he would show young Richard these Polaroids of decapitated women's heads, all the horrific things he did. Yeah. And at a young age, Richard actually saw his uncle murder his wife. Yeah. And he got away with it. Yeah. Because he pleaded insane.
Yeah. And back then you could plead insanity. And they would get you out.
You get like 2 years and you're out. Yeah. So early on, he was influenced by a lot of things. And then I think a lot of what we become in life is a lot of the surroundings, how we are living.
Oh yeah.
Situation. His dad used to beat the shit out of him.
And he used to sleep in cemeteries and everything. And he began devil worshipping at 13 years old.
Yeah, at 13 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like,
when that's a teenage kind of thing. Yeah, but
I never slept in a cemetery when I was
13. I'm thinking Hot Topic or something. But this guy, I mean, he did not have a good family structure, and then not only that, when he was younger, he had brain trauma a couple times.
Yeah, they said that that's the key thing to having a serial killer is like they tried to go with like psychology and everything and wonder what makes a serial killer, and it honestly is brain trauma is one.
Yes,
massive brain trauma. I mean, he had it not once but twice, and then he would have seizures after these brain traumas and everything like that. And they say like animal mutilation, but he never did that. He never mutilated any animals. He never killed any animals.
Man, they said that, really?
Yeah, they said that. He never really killed animals. He just started killing people.
Yeah, and then I mean, just so the detective on the case, his name was let's see,
Gil something.
It was Gil Carrillo.
Carrillo, yeah.
Yeah, Carrillo. So Gil. Man, I think I really felt for this guy. For some reason, he really kind of like resonated with me when hearing him talk, because this guy had 3 goals in life. He accomplished all of them, and one of them was to be a detective, a cop. Yeah. And you just saw throughout the documentary series when he's explaining that, the Night Stalker was literally down the streets.
Oh, yeah.
And his family was there.
Yeah.
And his wife said, we're out of here. We're leaving. You do what you need to do. You catch the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
We're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing him talk is mostly about like him and his the guy was like stressed. The guy was barely getting any sleep. I think one particular time he went and he told his wife, like, wake me up. I'm gonna take like a 2-hour nap. Mm-hmm. Then I got to get back on the case. And his wife was so worried about him. Like, you're not getting any sleep. Your health is probably not very good. It looks like you're going to have a heart attack right on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. Stubborn as he seemed like a stubborn guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's about to pass out, but then the office calls and says, we got another.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the life of a detective right there. Not that, but a homicide detective. He was a homicide detective, right?
Yeah. So, well, this is him and his partner. So the documentary, what was really interesting was how lucky the son of a bitch was, the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
This guy should have been caught maybe multiple times, but one particular time, his teeth were so jacked up. If you look at a picture of him, his teeth, he looks like a demon. He looks like a goblin.
Yeah.
So of course, he was using fake names. He wasn't, he wasn't using his real name. And then he had a dentist appointment at this one dentistry.
Man, who would take him?
Well, I think it was in Chinatown.
Oh, that's
I think it was in Chinatown. It was in Chinatown. And so he had this appointment. They found out that he was going to this dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have like, he has to come back, right? He has to fix his damn teeth or do something. So they had officers in disguise in there. And then they also had, those little buttons that you push for the bank for emergency that calls right straight to the police station.
Oh, yeah.
So they installed one of those as well. So the detectives, they're trying to figure out, because the most interesting thing about the whole case was the shoe. So these crime scenes would have a print of the shoe, and this was a rare ass shoe that only one person really had, and that was him.
The shoe company's still in business.
It's Avalon, something like that.
Avalon,
yeah, Avalon, yeah. It's still in business.
He's still in business. He's out of Portland. He's doing online only. So he's out of Portland, but the Avalon shoe is still in business.
And that was the big clue they had.
Yeah,
and they never wanted any information leaked to the media.
Yeah, no.
Which eventually kind of does.
Oh yeah, well everything gets leaked out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of mentality.
Well, back in the 40s in LA, going a little back in history, the reporters used to work well with the police officers. They used to give them, even the reporters would give them tip off of what's going on in there like that. So, but in the 60s and 70s and 80s, even now, the cops don't like the press there because they could ruin evidence, or they could
leak out details that the kill, because what they thought was that this guy has to be watching the media.
Yeah.
This guy has to be watching, how close we're onto his ass. And one of the things was that shoe print that nobody knew, and the size. I think it was a size 11, 12. And eventually they kind of leaked that out, especially when he went over to San Francisco. And they put a bounty on him, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And they leaked information that wasn't supposed to be leaked out. So going back to the dentistry. So this is what always seems to happen, especially in that time in the 80s, and 70s, 80s, right? 80s, is that for some reason they don't want to give them the budget to catch this most wanted killer. So they pulled the guys out of the undercover cops.
That's right. Yeah.
They pulled the undercover cops. The guy who's in the dentistry, the doctor or the dentist, I believe it was him, calls up the detective and says, "Where the hell were you guys at?" He came in, we did the thing, we're waiting for you guys, and then you guys never showed up. They're like, "What are you talking about?"
He's lucky because all the instruments of death right there,
Exactly. Well, apparently they pushed that button to alert the police station, and for some reason it malfunctioned.
Oh, Jesus.
So they could have got him right there, or even if they would have left the undercover cops there, I think they were just a day before that.
That's just
So Richard Ramirez, a lot of serial killers get really lucky.
Yeah,
they get really lucky before they get caught.
Well, with serial killers, what they do is they go on this berserk mode where they kill one person. Normally they kill just one person.
Yeah,
and then they do whatever, defile the body, they do whatever they want to the body, wear it, do whatever. But then they go months without killing again because they did it that one time. It kind of satisfied their urge.
This is such a different case.
Yeah, with Richard Ramirez, he was nothing but a berserker.
He was
killing.
murderer.
Yeah, he was just killing because he wanted to, because he loved it. And it wasn't sexual for him. It wasn't like
Well,
some of it was,
yeah.
but that's not why he started killing, like with Ted Bundy.
Well, when you say that, the one interesting, not interesting, but like the one sick thing that would happen was he'd rape these women, and he never liked to get looked at. They would say he would get more pissed if they were looking at him.
Yeah.
So, this guy, it was just pure. He wanted pure domination. He wanted you to know that he was in control. The dude was a sick son of a bitch.
And he also said, like, what made it even worse is just like every time like he would kill someone, he said, "Pledge your allegiance to Satan."
Yeah.
You know, he was a big time Satanist, and he believed in everything. He
believed that the devil had his back.
Yeah, that's what he believed. And so he was just like going like he all his victims. He either told them, this is how they also called him too, was they either told him, "Shut up, bitch," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Pledge your allegiance to Satan." And you know, when someone's killing you or doing terrible things to you, you're gonna say whatever they want you to hear, whatever they want to hear.
Yeah, you want to get out of that situation as fast as you can, or at least alive. I mean, this is so much different than Charles Manson.
Oh, way different. Like I said,
so much different.
Charles Manson didn't do anything. He was just a skinny guy on a commune. Not even on a commune. He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Just telling people what to do. And then these people believed in him so much that they went out and they did it.
Exactly. And then, so the one thing that reading up on all this, knowing a lot of this, these serial killers and stuff, my grandma used to always say is that you could tell that something was off about them or something's wrong about them by just looking at their eyes. Yeah. Charles Manson, Richard Ramirez, even Ted Bundy. If you really look at him, you can see there's something a little off there.
Oh yeah.
So if you look at Richard Ramirez, there's always something. His eyes, but not only his eyes, but you could just tell his whole face was so thin, like sunken in, so skinny.
Yeah.
And this guy, while he was on doing a lot of these heinous acts, and I mean, this dude gave up hygiene. Smelled horrible.
Oh yeah, big time.
They tell you that in the documentary series at the end when they get this guy. He's just foul and odor. So you could just tell this guy was just super, super off.
Oh yeah.
The one crazy thing about the documentary is about how the woman whose roommate gets killed inside of the apartment. But she encounters Richard Ramirez outside of the household.
Oh, yes.
And he uses, the documentary explains what kind of guns he uses. He doesn't use the same gun in all his victims. He switches it out a little bit, but then he comes back to
he uses the same caliber, though.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. The 22.
The shell, too, had a road coated red.
Yeah.
Red. So they explain what kind of guns and he uses. So he straight out, this chick is like, moves her hands up. He shoots her towards the face, and that bullet ricochets off her keys.
Yeah, right in her hand.
Her
right
keys. There, yeah. Insane. And then she drops, and then she like fakes she's dead.
Yeah.
Then she ends up kind of like screwing off, but then they meet again.
Yeah.
And then he lets her go.
Yeah.
All casual like. But the thought of that,
that's a one in a million.
How scary is that?
Yeah, basically, you think your life is over because you just got shot
right there by the face.
Yeah,
but your key saves your ass.
But you also got to think. I mean, going a little bit, a 22 bullet is not that strong. I mean, it is strong. It will kill.
There was some distance.
Yeah.
There was some distance. So
but with that small caliber, like he has to be close in order to do some damage. I know hitmen use that type of gun because it is a small round, but they're like right there. You have to be right there with that.
Like compare it to a shotgun.
Shotgun will obliterate
you, even in that distance.
Yeah.
It will because it's spreading out. So I thought that was crazy as shit. There's survivors in this documentary series that tell their story and how they survived.
The one survivor I have a little bit trouble swallowing and thinking about this is the one where she picks up the AC/DC hat, the very first one.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, but I mean, like he could have, but it's just like, like all of a sudden she says, "I picked up this AC/DC hat, and he loves AC/DC. That's his band." And then AC/DC got a bad rap for it because they thought that they were kind of like
because they have some songs that are like talking about the devil.
Yeah, and so
Highway to Hell.
Yeah, so they thought AC/DC was Satanist also, and that's why Richard Ramirez liked them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she was driving down the road back, and then all of a sudden he pulls off the side of the road, smiles at her, and then leaves.
No, I think they're driving.
Yeah,
and he's on the freeway, and then like he just passes her by.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I mean, it could have happened, but I don't know. I mean, she looks like a sweet abuelita, and I don't want to say no to
pobrecito.
I don't want to say no to them, because you never say no to an abuelita. But
he did have that AC/DC hat.
Yeah, he did have the hat.
He had that AC/DC hat.
Yeah, I mean, AC/DC was like a good band back. Still are.
Oh yeah, I love AC/DC. Yeah. I mean, but does it make me want to worship Satan?
No. I mean, there's no. I've been doing like a lot of studying about this a little bit. There's two kinds of Satanism, if you will.
Okay.
There is the Satanism, which is the devil, which is the horns, the demons, everything like that. But then there's another Satanism that is different. It's much more. They still believe in like the horns and everything, but it's much more of a freer spirit. Like he's not like I mean, it's kind of like the same thing where they worship the same thing. He's not a bad, he's not bad, he's good, and everything. But it's just drawn different. This is a true Satanist. Yeah, not like the corruption, because like in the Catholic Church, not just Catholic Church,
because this guy honestly believed that the devil had his back. Yeah, shit, maybe sometimes, because how many lucky breaks he gets?
Maybe there was something to it. Maybe he did sell his soul to him, and that's why he was helping him so much.
The guy, I mean, it's absolutely no excuse of what he did in his
Richard Ramirez is a piece of shit, and how he died was so.
It was weak.
It was weak.
It was very weak.
It was a cop-out, basically. A big cop-out. He murdered these innocent people that didn't know him.
And it just wasn't just like 3 people. Yeah. And then not only that, whatever the Netflix documentary covered, that's not on top of, he might have, he probably murdered more people that they don't know of.
Yeah. His case is still ongoing.
Yeah. There's still like people trying to find victims and stuff.
Yeah.
And that he probably was involved in. So, I mean, this guy
dies of natural causes in his cell.
Cancer.
Oh,
cancer. He dies of cancer, which, but that doesn't fit I think a lot of people wanted to see him on that chair.
I wanted to see him on the chair. I wasn't old enough to understand because I was born in 81. Yeah. But from what I saw, what I've read, what I've heard
about his trial was on 89. That was like my birthday. That was like that year I was born.
And so it's just like I didn't really, I didn't know about his actions and everything, but like I said, what I read, heard, and all that stuff, this guy was a real piece of shit.
Oh yeah. And then so going back to the victims, the one victim that really got me, this is what really rocked me. This is where I really got invested, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is where it all connects to the 2 cases that are going on, one with the abduction and one with the killings. And that's the victim that speaks on how she got abducted in her house. Yeah. So this is where Richard gets his skills from his brother, learning how to pick locks, learning how to the windows, pulling up the windows, like picking that lock. He literally goes through a window, picks up a little girl. And the little girl's tired, right? She's asleep, and she's just thinking it's a family member picking her up. Like, she's going back to sleep. She's in and out in a daze. He puts her in the car. They drive to his place, and he just abducts her, just like that. And then they're at his apartment, which is a fill. You can't. She has like things on the blinds where you can't really see the inside, and. He tells her some shit, and then he rapes I think she was 8 years old.
Yeah, that's terrible.
8 or 9.
Terrible.
That's where it really kind of got me like, my God, this guy's not only killing people.
Well, you have a son and everything.
Yeah, so it's true when you have a kid of your own, you get that protective mode. You get that I don't want any harm to happen to my son, my daughter. I want to protect them always. So seeing something horrific like that of an 8 or 9-year-old and knowing the innocence they have at that age, and then being that innocence being taken away, her being traumatized for the rest of her life, because what he does is he leaves her. Right? He leaves her. He does this to a lot of kids, even when he goes into a couple killings of the family members where it's a father. He shoots a lot of times. He'll shoot the dad. Right? He'll shoot the dad
because he doesn't want to have the struggle.
Yes,
the bigger struggle with the male. Not saying that women can't fight, but that's back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, I mean because there was this one woman who was the grandma, and she fought tooth and nail. But he'll shoot him. And then he'll go on to he raped the son. It didn't matter what gender. Raped the son, raped the woman. But going back to the victim, she's all grown up. She tells the story, and I'm glad that it doesn't affect her as much because she says like, I have kids, I have a family. I'm not gonna let this guy ruin my life for something he did to me. Which is bravo on her. So that particular victim and that particular story really hit me and really got me like, just paranoid. This documentary, the director said that he didn't want to glorify his sex symbol. So they didn't really showcase that. And they didn't really showcase too much of his childhood, like what we're talking about. He just wanted to showcase the hunt, the cruel acts he did, the victims. He definitely wanted to showcase the victims' families, have them talk, their story, talk about the victims, their loved one that was murdered, especially the grandma, a lot of these other cases.
Well, there's also a victim, I think the Doys they were called. How I think they were an older couple and he snuck in and he killed them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he and this was with the I think the grandpa, he was still alive. He called 911, but what happened was he was too late because he was too busy, defiling his wife and everything like that already. But then when he went back to go kill the husband, he had a shotgun, so she pumped that shotgun, and she shot at him, but he took out the bullets because the grandchildren were visiting and he wanted to be responsible. So she could have killed him right then and there. But see, that's where the
luck comes in.
And it's just like, and then he kills her and the husband calls 911, stays alive long enough to basically die in the hospital.
So the victims, I mean, this starts in the record shows, but we know that there's probably more cases out there. Unsolved, cases that's probably linked to him. So it starts from June 1984, and then it goes to August 1985, and then I believe his trial is in 89. So these are a lot. I mean, he has 13 victims that they really showcase, and it's a lot of the it's a lot of the elderly. It's a lot of shooting them, but then also torturing a lot of them. So this guy, look at all these victims.
He's just really.
And then that was the trippy part. So
real piece of shit.
Looking at all the victims, I mean, you have Dale. There's the Dale Ozazi. It's so hard to pronounce his names. Vincent, Max, and then a lot of them were couples too. There was one particular almost victims. Where it was a wife and husband, and the husband got shot, but he was alive and he wrestled with them.
I think,
then he's kind of like scared them away.
I think that's the Doys.
The Doys, So they lived. They lived. You have Joyce, Lucille, Nelson. That was a 61. Mary Louise, 77 years old. Layla, 66. You see how high, but then he would go to younger kids. He wouldn't kill him, but he would rape them, and
it's just
so he had no preference.
No, he didn't. He
was 31-year-olds.
He was just going around on a rampage.
So
all just one big rampage.
And seeing his picture right here, he has the symbol.
This
what is it? Satanic symbol on his palm.
What's it called? The pentagram.
And then he would showcase that in the court, like he would say "Hail Satan" in the court. and this dude, it was a media frenzy. So I think we should get into how he got caught.
Okay.
So this guy, his luck finally ran out. So the media actually helped.
Yeah.
The media actually helped.
Yeah, they did.
I'm very surprised at the detectives, because in the documentaries, the detectives didn't want this out. Where one of the detectives in San Francisco finds a contact of this may be the guy that we're looking for. He's using a different name. He finds the contact, beats the shit out of him, gets his real name out of him, and we get Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
And then they pull up what's crazy is Richard doesn't have a crazy laundry list of acts in jail or anything like that.
No.
There's one instant where he used to work at a hotel, and he tried to rape a woman, and the husband came in.
16 years old,
beat the shit out of him, and he should have went to trial for that, but they were out of towners and they never came back.
Yeah.
And he was never prosecuted.
Yeah.
So
let's just say he got fired from that job.
he got his ass kicked. Yeah. He got his ass handed. And I think a lot of people would say if he got trialed by that, then this kind of would be avoided.
And then also they said because he had a best friend. This was in El Paso. He was born and raised a little bit in El Paso.
Yeah.
And so he went to his best friend in El Paso at the time. They said this in the documentary. He's like, "Oh, dude, what happened to you?" He asked. He's all, "Dude, I got the shit beat out of me." He's all like, "Oh, why? What'd you do?" And then he said like something else. He told him something else.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh man, you kind of deserved it, dude."
Shit, yeah, you did.
Yeah, he deserved a lot. He deserved
a lot.
He deserved to. I mean, my opinion. This is just my opinion. He deserved to be fried. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and then just cancer took him.
Yeah, it's just like it's just such a cop out,
But I did like the justice that was so basically they know who this guy is.
Yeah,
they're gonna post his picture everywhere.
Oh yeah,
especially San Francisco, Central Coast, LA, especially in LA.
Yeah.
The lead detectives don't want this to happen because they want him because they know he's watching all this.
Yeah.
And they want to go and get him peacefully, kind of.
Yeah.
Or at least they just don't want this to be leaked out. And in my opinion, I didn't agree with that. When I saw that they didn't want that, because what happens? The motherfucker gets caught.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't want it leaked out. And then the San Francisco police department was all like, I can't sit on this. This is a known killer that we have. If I sit on this and I don't give out the information, then people are going to come after my job and say that I'm being incompetent. We knew who this guy was, but we released no evidence. No, I'm not going to listen to you guys. I'm going to release this picture.
Well, you know what? And then you hit it right in the head. And they do say, like, they understand.
Yeah. Oh, no, they get it.
They get it.
LA gets it. Yeah.
And it's not like egos here.
No.
They wanted to get this guy already.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe before it was like, they weren't really going in the beginning. They weren't really going headstrong with this. But they're all in. They want to get this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So at the time, Richard, I think, was in El Paso visiting his brother.
No, he was in Arizona.
That's right. Yeah. He was in Arizona.
He was in Arizona visiting his brother. Yeah.
He was in Arizona. He comes back. He's he gets dropped off. He uses the Greyhound a lot.
Yeah.
He gets dropped off. He goes into a market and he sees a paper with his
what happened? I'm sorry to interrupt. What happened was, Richard knows what undercover cops look like.
Oh, exactly.
And so he knows, but he didn't know that they were there for him.
Yes.
He thought they was there for someone else, but he knows what undercover cops look like because he grew up with the homeless people. He grew up with the vagrants. He grew up with all them, and he's all like, well, hey, you know what? That guy, he's trying to be a homeless man, but he's closest.
I believe it was at the Greyhound too. It was at the Greyhound.
He doesn't stink.
Yeah.
Like homeless people smell. Yeah. I mean, sorry to say, they do.
Absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so he hopped in a cab. I believe they saw him figure out that they were cops, so they chased after him. He hopped in a cab and he goes down to East LA.
He went to that market first.
Yeah.
He went to the market and then they were recognizing him. And I think first, I think the documentary says he hopped into the bus.
Yeah.
The transportation bus first. And everybody was starting to recognize his ass. And then he hops out and then he fucking he starts running.
Yeah,
because everybody's figuring out. Police are,
Yeah.
I believe, were called. He tries to hijack a car.
yeah, and that didn't work. Yeah,
that didn't work.
Yeah,
and then he tries to hijack another car, I believe,
Mhm.
or do something, or I can't necessarily remember. But the guy who I think it was the father, or I don't know who it was. One of the guys has this pipe and beats the shit out.
Yeah,
of
that's right. Because the laser's trying to recognize and everyone, and
everybody in a neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a neighborhood. This is in East LA. This is a barrio where they started recognizing him, and they started going, "Hey, you know what? I think that's him. I think that's the Night Stalker. I think he was called the Night Stalker."
Yeah, and then this dude, and he's trying to fucking. I think at one point he tries to get a hostage. I can't remember.
Yeah.
He definitely tries to hijack a car.
Yeah.
And then you got, you don't got just Mexicans, you got Asians, you got black people,
Yeah.
you got everybody rising up, seeing this motherfucker, and they're saying, "Fuck this guy, we're going after him."
There was literally a crowd of people chasing after him,
and he was his ass kicked.
Oh yeah, he got beat up so hard. He got hit in the head with pipes. He's got punched. He got everything that so technically, if you think about it, he did get what he deserved.
Yeah, I mean,
but he didn't die from it.
No, but I do like how when it came down to the neighborhood's the one that fucking got his ass.
Yeah,
and he was so exhausted, he gave up.
Yeah,
he did not keep running, and
he didn't even fight with the police.
Yeah, there was nowhere. He was done. There was nowhere where he can go without being recognized, which makes you think like, they couldn't pinpoint this guy. They didn't know who this guy was. This is why a lot of this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it definitely was the right move to put his picture everywhere, because this is what the result is. Now I see the other side where, they get him and the neighborhood and people, it's a fiasco. Yeah. They have him in custody. They have him in the cop car, and everybody wants to murder this guy. Oh yeah. They hear the stories. They know what he's done. Yeah. They want to kill him. Oh yeah. So the neighborhood is just flocked with people cheering. They got him, this and that. So now, but the police officers that are handling this are saying, "Shit, we gotta crowd control these people, because they're gonna go out, they're gonna kill him. We're not gonna have a trial because they're gonna take him." Exactly. But we did have a trial. He does get taken to.
Well, let's talk about how the detectives, they were on the opposite side of town, and then the cops that were having the problem with the crowd control, they called them and said, "We got your guy, come get him," and they rushed down there.
Now that's the sad part is they didn't get him. Yeah, no, it was a PD that got him.
Yeah, because he thought that there was just a fight in the streets and he was going to go settle it. I don't know what he was going to do, but he thought he was just going to go settle it. So he goes down there and he arrested him, and then they call them, and then they say, "We got the guy, we got the Night Stalker.
As long as he's get him."
Yeah. And so they rushed down there, and well, you know what? We didn't. We just talked about Gil. Let's talk about his partner, who was.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
He was a seasoned detective. He's the one that did the Hillside Strangler.
What was his name?
I forgot his name too.
That's why I didn't mention it, because I think it was like Vincent or something. Yeah, but you're absolutely. I mean, we do got to talk about that.
But he was a known cop. He was respected. He was the best of the best.
And these two weren't together in the beginning.
No,
they ended up hooking up later on, and then the dynamic do it, because Gil was like. Not a rookie cop, but he was a guy that people are like, this guy's young.
Yeah, he was rookie and detective, because he was, at the time, he was the youngest detective.
That's true.
That was on homicide. So they kind of didn't they kind of talk shit behind his back. This guy's just trying to prove something.
Didn't really believe him and most of the stuff.
And then one time he invites him to dinner. And he goes to an Italian restaurant in Chinatown, which I thought that was really funny.
Well, I thought in the documentary series, it's so funny because he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm just used to eating like fucking Mexican food."
Exactly.
And then these guys have suits. And we're eating. I don't know. I forgot what it's called. That's a chicken parm. He's never had all. Well, this is '80s. I'm sorry. It's the first time I'm chicken parm.
I'm used to Mexican food, like burritos all the
No,
time.
this guy, he would say that, and then he was with his partner, and then they would have this dinner, have drink, and they would meet up for a drink, because this case was getting to them.
I honestly think all kinds of detectives are alcoholics, because they drink like fishes, man, because they're frustrated and everything.
Yeah, and then because you're right, because he was a well-respected detective.
Yeah, he's the one that did the Hillside Strangler. He's the one that caught him.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, I think not the funny thing, but the Night Stalker, Richard actually told him that some of those killings might have been him.
Oh, really?
I can't remember though.
But he also said the thing is when Richard Ramirez was caught and was being interrogated by Gil and by the other detective, he said
Frank. His name was Frank. Frank.
He kind of idolized Frank because he's all like, "Oh man, Frank, you got the Hillside Strangler.
Yes,
I idolize you." And then he didn't know who Gil was, and so when he looks at Gil, he's just like, and then Gil's all like this because he knew that back in the 80s, like that's how they talk. Oh, hey, they say what's up, oh, what's up, home? What are you doing, But he knew who Frank was.
Yeah, Frank was. I mean, you needed these two guys to team up together because they both contributed, and these two minds really worked out.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. The detective, I forgot his name too, in San Francisco, though, was the one who eventually found out who Richard Ramirez was, and I think without him, this doesn't get solved as soon as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they get Richard, right? Mm-hmm. They get Richard. He goes to his trial. We'll talk about this trial here. He's his teeth got fixed.
You think so?
Yeah, his teeth got. I saw a picture where it might have been years later.
Yeah,
his teeth end up getting fixed.
Well, he was in prison. They get fed 3 times a day and beds and everything. Probably.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I was actually I was listening to a YouTuber. I forgot his name. He used to be an inmate, and he talked about Richard Ramirez, how he was transferred over to the death row.
Yeah.
It was some circumstance. He wasn't on death row. It was some circumstance.
He was in San Quentin.
Richard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he went and the guards were taking him to this one particular cell. And he was like, "Oh, damn. Whoa, what's red, blue?
Yeah.
They got red, blue clothes on. They got this, they got that. Like, they got TVs. They got this. What the fuck? Like, how the hell these guys get this?" And then the officer said, "These guys are on death row. Yeah. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this is it for them. That's it. They're going to die." So like all this stuff. And then he walks, he says, "What's going on with that cello there?" And it's Richard Ramirez's cello.
Yeah.
There. So it was kind of interesting how a lot of these death row inmates get all this stuff. They wear what they wear because they're going to die.
But it's just like, I mean, this is just like, once again, my personal stuff. Please don't take this to heart or anything like this. Why do they treat inmates, especially inmates, let's just say inmates, so well? Because it's just like, they get fed. I mean, yeah, it's crappy food, but they get fed, they get their yard time. It's a daycare for adults that done something bad.
Yeah.
And 90% of them, when they go out, they come back in.
Well, the crazy thing is on the death row kind of thing is that it takes too long.
Yeah, it does. It takes
way too long.
Yes, way too long.
You sentence them, but depending on the case, the dude could be alive until he gets cancer and he dies.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the point of sentencing him?
Exactly. It's just like,
to death at least. Yeah.
They say that we can't be judge, juror, and executioner. Well, I think we should. I mean, Judge Dredd had it right. That's a comic book, James. Calm down. But I'm serious though. It's just like, the court system takes too long. It takes way too long for a piece of shit like Richard Ramirez.
I mean,
he did.
If you want to see the dysfunction of the court system, there's another Netflix documentary series that's called "Making a Murderer."
Oh yeah, I seen that.
And they explain everything that's wrong. You could agree or disagree whether he's guilty or not, but just the overall system that they have implanted is redunculous. Yeah. Crazy shit.
And so, I mean, like, he gets treated like a king in there. You have women throwing themselves at him.
So let's talk about that.
All right.
The trial.
All right.
This dude is regarded. So this is what really pissed me off. Mm-hmm. This guy is really regarded as a sex symbol.
Oh yeah.
These fucking bimbos think like they want to marry this guy, and he does get married. He gets married while he's on trial.
He does?
Yes.
What?
You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that.
He gets married.
What?
I forgot her name, but Let's see. Night Stalker's wife. We should have probably wrote this down. Said, oh yeah, this is the fucking names. But Doreen. Doreen marries Richard Ramirez. So I think they had I read somewhere where, so a lot of these groupies wanted to, fuck the living shit out of them. They worshiped them. They were so-called Satanists too.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Oh God.
This pissed me off because they're not, these women loving this guy and knowing the acts that he committed. You're telling me you want to fuck somebody who raped kids, who raped women and beat the shit out of them before killing them? You agree with that? So I was absolutely livid and then they showcase a lot of these women in his cases and stuff. So there's one particular story that Doreen says, I didn't even know she was dead. Yeah, she's dead. She died in 2013. So Doreen said that, yeah, all these women would flock towards him and want him. So she'd be in a court case or she'd be in the trial and then she'd come out, sit down, and then she'd see these women and like, oh,
that's
maybe
terrible.
I wonder what she's like what case she's following, this and that. And then she find out that this chick wants to bang him. But this woman married him. I fucking couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. It's just like, why? Why would you want to marry him? I mean, I get that people are attracted to people, but it's just like, like this guy did some serious heinous crimes that he killed people.
These people are so delusional, and you don't think that he's going to strangle the shit out of you, beat the shit out of you?
Maybe they like that stuff.
Then they deserve whatever's coming. Then, yeah. Honestly, like that's ridiculous. What really gets me is that they would sleep with somebody who would fucking rape these kids.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like you would sleep with you're not sleeping with just a killer. You're sleeping with a rapist.
Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
But I mean, I'm not defending them at all, but I seriously don't think they think of that stuff. They just look at him.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're delusional.
Yeah, they just look at him and they say, oh, he's cute, which I don't get it because he has that. It's called halitosis. Oh, the bad breath disease. Oh. He has permanent halitosis.
It's not just that though. It's just like his whole body. Dude, it's this guy.
Yeah,
this is the guy who's been bringing. So when I saw this, a little bit glimpse of the trial in the documentary series, and then I looked it up and his trial in general, which was kind of a fiasco.
Yeah.
Just like feeling so bad for the victims' families.
Oh yeah, having
to fucking deal with this circus.
Yeah.
This circus.
Yeah. People constantly bugging him. Oh, how did he kill him? How did he sneak in? How did he do this? How did he do? And it's just like the probably with the case with the little girl when she was a little girl. And like probably dad was going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
well, they were asleep.
Yeah.
All of them were asleep.
But then like when they finally went out and they got the information, the freaking paparazzi. Well, how come you didn't know? How come made him constantly feel like I failed my daughter? My daughter was kidnapped and was raped by this evil sack of shit,
Yeah, and then he's wearing sunglasses in the trial.
Yeah, he thinks he's Mr. Cool and everything, saying like, "Oh, Satan loves you." Or,
the dude was very arrogant.
Oh yeah, he was
very arrogant.
Yeah,
there's a YouTube video out there that really kind of dissects his psyche. But this guy definitely loved the attention he was getting.
Yeah, he loved every minute of it. Like there was a famous saying when he was caught, like something, "I'll see you in Disneyland" or something like that.
Stupid, yeah.
And then it's just like that's like his famous quote is saying, "I'll see you in Disneyland because they can't keep me" or something like that.
Well, the one thing that really made me think was that sometimes we, even myself, I'm guilty of. And I think a lot of people are guilty of, filmmakers, studios, and shows like American Horror Story.
I thought honestly it was great too. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, no, like I love American Horror Story. I think American Horror Story is great. I think I've covered a lot of the seasons. Except recently, I didn't like the season, but they got serial killers.
You didn't like 1984?
Nah.
I love 1984.
I kind of I think it needs to just die.
Really?
But what I'm saying is, they have serial killers like the one, I forgot her name, who was portrayed as Charlize Theron in Monster. Forgot her name. She
was a serial killer?
Yeah. Well, she murdered a lot of the
She was from Florida, right? She's a truck driver.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot her name too, but I know who you're talking about.
I mean, they had Gacy. They had Richard Ramirez on one of the seasons. Was that 84?
Well, he was in 84 and he was in Hotel Cecil.
Yeah. That's what I remember too. sometimes we glorify it too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes we like, yes, it's just a show. They have these serial killers on there because it's a horror show, this and that. But they don't deserve it.
No, they don't.
They don't deserve to have if we lived in, I guess the right thing to do is just forget about him. Don't even mention his name, like Voldemort, right? Just like don't even fucking mention that name. But then again, at the same time, you gotta bring him out because you gotta strike that fear. That's what the director, I believe, wanted to do with the documentary series is strike fear in you.
Yeah.
And Richard, you have to talk about these heinous acts because you gotta maybe down the road you'll avoid them.
Well, see, it comes
or be prepared for them.
It comes down to this: we as human beings are curious things. We are curious with the strange, the unusual, the murders. I mean,
I'm guilty of loving like paranormal stories, scary stories.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I dug so deep into this Richard Ramirez thing, just because I was in shock.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the thought of shock. It's the thought of awe. I mean, you take Ted Bundy, take Gacy, take any of them, that what they've done. And as humans, we go kind of like a curious thing. We go, I want to see those pictures. I want to see that. I want to see a murder because people are naturally curious.
You have a lot of those people out there.
Yeah.
A lot of those people out. Now, I think you got to show that kind of stuff because guess what, America? They show that shit outside of the United States. If you look outside of the United States,
it's even worse.
The news is showing you people getting mowed down by machine guns.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it, but this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Now, do I think the difference though between that and showcasing like crime scenes and stuff is the horrific events is you get that pictured idea of like that could be your loved one.
Yeah.
And you want to do anything possible to protect your life. Maybe you go and buy a security system and stuff. You know,
we had one.
Yeah, you want to prevent that. You want to prevent that, and they're showcasing you something that makes you want to do it.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's necessary. Mm-hmm. Now, glorifying like an American Horror Story or Richard Ramirez or anything like that, it's not necessarily really. It's really kind of like just part of the show.
Yeah,
and that's what they are. Think of it like a circus. They are the entertainers, so to speak.
The monkeys.
Yeah, but it is sad that we glorify them a little. Like people will buy Funko Pops of this character of this guy. It's not even a character; it's a real guy who murdered people. You know, and that kind of makes you question. Like,
do they have a Funko Pop of him?
Probably. American Horror Story has a shitload. Like, why? But I've seen people buy fucking like little or go to the murder scene and get the gravel and keep it.
Oh yeah.
Go to museums. Yes, curiosity does get to us, but sometimes media-wise, we should definitely not glorify or like worship these.
We should like put like a little disclaimer on these. Like these people have done terrible things. Let's not glorify them.
Yeah, I mean, people who have common sense know that.
Yeah.
There's people who love the true crime, the snap, because it is interesting how people could snap.
Yeah.
I think that's what really drew me into this Netflix series is like, how the fuck did this guy become this way?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I think it is a lot of his childhood. I think it could do the head trauma. And then at some point it's your accountability too. There's some people who are strong enough who have horrible backstories, but they're fine.
Yeah.
They say I'm not gonna succumb to that.
There's people out there who have gotten beaten by their parents, who have like had bad childhoods, but they don't grow up and they don't go killing people. It's just one of those things. Like
this is the world. Yeah. The problem, it's shocking. It's the thing is not everybody's going to be the same, and when you say that means not everybody's going to not kill. Yeah. Some people are going to kill because, like my grandma said, look at their fucking eyes. Yeah. She didn't say fucking. She just look at their eyes. She said, look at their eyes. Yeah. There's something off. Yeah. Another one that really showcases that is the shooter at the Colorado movie theater. Oh yeah. Look at that guy's eyes. Yeah. Dude's insane. The dude and Richard Ramirez, there's something off. Yeah. There's something off and then they snapped and they liked it. That's
It's
the
terrible when you like to take someone else's life who's like the guy in the Colorado. Just people are going to go see Batman just to enjoy Batman.
Yeah, it's a wholesome, innocent.
Yeah. And this guy chose the right time to. I mean, chose not the right time. Just chose to go in and start mowing down people with a gun because he had something in his life that triggered it. And it's just like, dude, come on,
It's
man.
like Richard Ramirez,
Yeah.
this guy. People were just minding their own business in their house. They thought they were safe.
Yeah, well, they should be safe. Your house, you should be safe in your own home.
And this guy just came in there and just fucking just absolutely. It's just not the fact he killed them. It's the fact that he really did some damage to.
Yeah, he did.
It was Richard Ramirez, man. So, yes, he did get cancer. He did not die on the chair. I believe he died in
not 2013.
2000? Was it 2000? I don't think so.
Maybe.
Well, his wife died in 2013.
Maybe it was. I want to say maybe 2000.
It was something around that. It was like 2003.
I want to say 2003.
No, he died in 2013.
Oh, 2013. Okay.
So his wife died in 2013 as well.
Yeah, by a heartbreak.
No, she was divorced.
Oh.
She divorced him.
She just wanted the fame then.
I don't know what the fuck these people want. So he died in 2013. So he didn't get. It's not like the victims got to see him die.
Yeah.
He had cancer, died. So this Night Stalker documentary. I guess the controversy is like, why do you make this documentary? You make this documentary to strike fear in people.
Yeah, to let them know to watch their surroundings.
Yes, just be aware that just because you're inside your house does not mean you're safe.
Yeah, you gotta check. I mean, that's what I do. I come in here and I check doors. I check everywhere just to make sure because you never know.
Paranormal, ghosts, scary movies. Jump scares.
I hate
Halloween horror nights. They don't scare me. What scares me is somebody breaking into my house.
That's the ultimate fear, right there.
And then you having to, hopefully, what do you have to defend? But this guy has a fucking arsenal, like shotgun, pistol, whatever. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So that's the most terrifying thing to me is somebody breaking in, and that's real horror.
Yeah,
that is real.
Yeah,
fucking movies and all that stuff are never going to capture the horrific sights that those crime scenes showcase.
Exactly. Because those are real. Yeah. That can happen. That can happen right now. That can happen to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much different. Watching that documentary just made you just kind of like open my eyes a little bit more.
Oh yeah. Just to make sure that you watch your surroundings, you watch who's around you. Don't be scared of people. Don't be scared of interacting, but just be aware. Now,
I'm gonna say, am I judging you for watch documentaries, true crime? No, because I do the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I watched Making a Murder, see if this guy really did it or not. All the true crime shows that are out there.
I listen to a true crime podcast that I just love all the time. Last Podcast on the Left,
Yeah, I mean, we're not judging because we all are curious, and I think these documentaries and I think these shows, they're not really necessarily glorifying the serial killer. They're showcasing you what life could present, and it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So watching all this stuff, could give me a good insight of what lock my doors. Some people probably want to carry a firearm.
Yeah. Well, see,
don't go on a goddamn dark, windy road.
Yeah,
I know you want to make out with your girl, but the metaphor of the hook man, that just means a serial killer.
Yeah.
There's certain things you shouldn't do.
And that's one of them.
One of the high risk. So a lot of these shows and a lot of these movies, yes, it's a show, it's a movie. The documentaries, the true crimes and all that stuff, but they're giving you little things that you could use if you are in a certain situation that maybe you could apply to.
Yeah. No, the whole thing about, having a gun at your house, like people say, oh, I should get a gun. That's one thing that you got to think about. You get a gun. All right. So what does that mean? You're just going to point that gun at someone and hopefully they'll get scared and run away?
You need training.
You do need training, but see, there's the ultimate factor right there. And military people know this.
Yeah.
Are you willing to take a life?
Yes.
You're going to be taking someone's life that, yes, is doing wrong by breaking into your house, but honestly, in nowadays laws, this is how so screwed up. If you shoot him in your house, he can sue you.
Yeah, so that's the insane thing. Like if a burglar injures himself climbing your fence, he could sue you.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So that's why this justice system was like, wow.
Exactly. But I mean, that's the ultimate thing right there. If you know, just because that person's willing to take a life, are you willing to take a life?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that's something you got to think about. So if you think about it, if you want to get a gun, to go shooting range, that's fine. Yes, you have that gun for protection too, but you also got to know, are you willing to take that life?
Exactly. Now, I think once again, I think a lot of these like documentaries and stuff and true crime shows, the other thing is like the human psyche, right? We want to know why people snap.
Yeah.
We want to know why fucking wives murder their husband murder their wives, how planned is it, this and that. Like what makes them want to do that, and how the fuck did they come up with all this stuff?
Yeah.
And then there's situations where relationships are so bad that a person sometimes just doesn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
So these are things that people watch and stuff that kind of would maybe reflect their own relationship.
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't go down that route. So crazy shit. Richard Ramirez, real fucking guy. I mean, I did not know the detail until I saw this documentary, looked up a lot of stuff. In my eyes, hearing a lot of the serial killers, I think this guy, even Gacy doesn't top him. I think this guy is like the number one heinous. I mean,
yeah. Well, Ted Bundy is like,
Ted, and then Dahmer,
yeah.
But I think this guy, when it comes to just true evil, brutality, and not being remorseful, this guy really takes the cake for me. Really takes the cake.
Because like I said earlier, Richard Ramirez went kill, and this is on the same night.
Yeah, kill. 3 murders a night.
Yeah, when
Gacy, traveling.
Yeah, when Gacy and Dahmer they did it once a month, and once a month only, and they did it again, and that could have been a couple months down the road when they had the urge to do it again. Yeah,
and this guy is once again he's just. It's fucking kind of random.
Yeah.
It's kind of random.
Yeah, it's random, yeah.
I mean, he's probably looking for a weak, elderly, like, somebody who's not going to really fight back too much.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wanted the easy kill.
Yeah. So the documentary The Night Stalker is on Netflix. I do recommend watching it. I mean, if you are hesitant to see a lot of the true crime scenes, that the photography, I mean, I didn't think it was like too crazy. They really they blurred out their face.
Yeah.
But there's a real pictures. It's a documentary that really showcases the hunt, really showcases the detectives that were on it. I think the director did a good job of striking fear and letting you know.
I agree.
You need to. It's not glorifying the killer at all. It's really showcasing this guy was a real piece of shit, and you need to watch out. You need to watch your back at all times.
You do, yeah.
You can't, even if you're asleep, you better make sure you got some locks on those doors. So the documentary, The Night Stalker, a good documentary series. Definitely recommend checking it out. Richard Ramirez, piece of shit. Sad that he went out that way.
Yeah.
I think the victims deserve more justice, but I do like the fact how they caught him. And how the neighborhood rose up and beat the shit out of this guy and caught this guy. Yeah, it was the neighborhood that caught him. It wasn't the 2 detectives.
It was the neighborhood all the way.
So we're gonna talk more on a lot of like Ted Bundy, Dahmer, because we want to get into like what the fuck is going on here. You know, what makes somebody really snap? And I think I really do want to touch upon future videos on paranormal stuff too.
I'd love to do that. The paranormal.
We got some stories. So. But we wanted to discuss our first kind of like true crime video. We want to discuss this particular guy, and moving on from other serial killers and stuff. This, like I said, this to me takes the cake for being as brutal, and it's just I'm glad the one victim moved on from her life, and she's trying not. You can't let this tear you down.
It's hard. It's hard not to let something this traumatizing not tear you down, but when she came up and she's like said, yeah, even just talking about it, is enough to
the granddaughter of her grandma, of one of the grandma or the elderly ladies, like just the victim's family coming up and speaking in this documentary takes a lot.
Yeah,
and
it does.
So it's crazy. So we're gonna move on from Richard Ramirez, and we're gonna discuss. We'll see what the next.
I want to do someone that really no one has really heard of.
Exactly. I mean, you got to, because there is like, these are high profile cases, but like I said, this fucking neighborhoods or whatever, like, this can happen anywhere.
There's one that that's really, like I said, interesting to me. He's called the Toy Box Killer, and he operated out of New Mexico. And what he did was heinous and actually worse than, he didn't kill as many people as Ramirez did. But he tortured worse.
Now we talk about this too, because like these are like normal. Some of them look normal.
Yeah.
Some of them are going day to day. You could go to your job and you didn't know what the fuck this other person is doing.
Exactly. I work with some shady people that I wonder, what do these guys do?
Doing their day, yeah. So thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. Like the video. James will be on the next.
All right, I'll be here. I like this.
Okay, yeah, guys. I mean, go watch the Netflix documentary series. Let me know your guys' thoughts on just overall. What do you think about this piece of shit? Because he is a piece of shit. I'm sorry if you think he's great. He's not. But it's good to cover, especially my frustration on like a lot of the things that I was watching and reading. I needed to talk about this. I needed to like vent. Like, this guy really fucking made me pissed. At some point in that documentary when I was watching, I was like, that dentistry, when they didn't get him, I was like, what the fuck? Like out loud. I was by myself watching this, saying what the like out loud, because I was frustrated. I was like, I didn't know that they had a chance to get this guy. They didn't get him at that time, and then more victims were happening.
It's terrible.
So. But thank you guys. We're going to be talking about, I have more videos on my channel. Just did the WandaVision review, and it did just a lot of fucking things on there. Just check it out.
Stay safe.
All right, you guys have a good one.